This is Hannibal from the HannibalTV.com with a daily live stream news update for you. Raw set and another all-time record low rating for last night's November 11th episode. It is the lowest rated Raw in history for a show other than last Christmas Eve's show and last New Year's Eve's show. So it's the lowest Raw in history of it was Veterans Day, but that's not a big non-TV holiday. So other than a holiday, it was the lowest rated Raw in history with 2.06 million viewers. There was a 26% drop in the audience from hour 1 to hour 3, which was the largest in Raw's history. Its viewership was down 16% from the same Raw week last year. So it dropped 16% in viewers. And they did a big angle with, not a big angle, but a big segment with Rusev and Lashley on Raw with, again, make out and all this crap. And this just shows you that that's not interesting. But it was in the Sun in the UK about Rusev being interviewed about this story with Lana and Bobby Lashley. I guess he's breaking character here. What a great way to get the angle over. Saying it's a collaboration. There's adjustments that we make, but that's just life. We're committed to our characters on TV, so we just have to make slight adjustments, but we're professionals and we're coping with it. It's great. You are a fucking pussy, my man. If you're okay with another guy making out with your wife, you're a fucking pussy, in my opinion. I mean, you're on the road with this guy. I have no respect for you at all. Colonel Quayle says lame storyline. Emma Crash agreed. This guy's a total pussy. He's a fucking cuckold, in my opinion. In other news, AEW's Full Gear that took place November 9th at the Royal Farm Arena in Baltimore was not sold out. According to reports, we will get the official number in this week's Observer, but there was a lot of empty seats behind the hard camera side of the building, including the entire upper deck of the hard camera side being empty for the AEW pay-per-view. So the days of the AEW sellout seem to be over. However, on a good note, according to reports, there was more people in the building for the AEW pay-per-view than the last time that Raw was there. And Bigo Garland says Raw sucks. Chris_HCM says it's acting fool related to Rusev. Abe Lincoln says it's going to get worse. Yeah, I agree. It's going to get worse as far as ratings and attendance because, I mean, I've watched clips of it on social media. I was actually running on the treadmill for about an hour and a half, from about 9:30 to midnight during Raw. But it was actually annoying me so much that I was purposely trying not to look at it. But I did glance over for some of the Lana and Lashley debacle there, and good that it's getting horrible ratings. We'll see if Jim Ross's prediction is right, and it's going to be Bruce Pritchard fired next. But Paul Heyman's the one that's supposedly the executive director of SmackDown. However, there's more pressure from Fox than for USA to get good ratings. Jerry Lynn is an agent for AEW. He said on Twitter he had an MRI at a doctor today, and he's getting surgery for a bulging disc November 29th. It's only 3 to 4 weeks recovery. Good for you living in the U.S., getting these quick surgeries. In Canada, you literally have to wait 6 months to a year, at least in Ontario, to get an MRI. Then it's like another 6 months if you're lucky to get an operation. Nate Diaz said his return to MMA is going to depend on UFC. UFC news. It is also the anniversary today of UFC 1. So I think it was November 12th, 1993. And in honor of this, UFC posted their UFC 1 in full on Twitch. I'm still not positive what Twitch is. I'm not a subscriber to Twitch or anything, but I guess they streamed UFC 1 on Twitch. I remember that UFC well. I have the VHS of it still, because when video stores went out of business, they sold all their wrestling and MMA DVDs, and I was a collector back then, and I would go in there and buy them all. M Crash says Raw is irrelevant. I hope AEW can add more guys I can take serious to their roster. So yeah, I hope they add people that can be taken more seriously to the roster too. In other, the interview I did with Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff in full on the Great North Wrestling podcast on iTunes. I post all of these live stream news updates on there too. So if you just want to listen to the audio version of them, they're posted on there. So I encourage you guys to subscribe to that. Devious says I should stream GNW on Twitch for American fans. Well, I already put everything on YouTube. We are going to actually try and stream the February 29th Great North Wrestling Annihilation event on my channel that I'm making into a just full shoot interviews and just full live streamed events channel. That is under Devin Nicholson. So if you look up Devin Nicholson, subscribe to that. There's going to be no ads on that, and I'm going to be adding interviews on there in full with no ads, probably for the next 2 to 3 months to build up the subscribers on there. Then it will eventually be monetized. But a lot of people have been asking for us to stream GNW events, and we're going to try it on that channel, Devin Nicholson, on February 29th. So subscribe there. Someone says Seth Rollins sucks. Apparently on Raw, they had a bunch of matches where WWE guys squashed NXT guys. So it's interesting. Everyone that says NXT is so good, it appears that Raw hit an all-time record low rating with NXT guys on that show. It'll be interesting to see if the WWE guys are on NXT this Wednesday, if NXT will break the six-week win streak that AEW has right now in the Wednesday Night Wars. I think it's possible because the margin was pretty small last week. This week could possibly be the week that Raw takes over. I think it's gonna be pretty close anyways. Chris says SmackDown is the A show. Robert Villarreal says thoughts on NWA Power. Shitty talent overall on there. Their champion sucks. I could beat him up in less than a minute easily without breaking a sweat. Bad champion. Barlight Broker says we need some good-looking bodybuilder type wrestlers. These criminal type tattooed clowns suck. Well, when I always talk about bigger wrestlers and more intimidating wrestlers, some people are always like, yeah, we need more juiced up freaks in wrestling. Well, no, I'm not on any steroids, for instance. I'm 270 to 280 pounds. I fluctuate depending on the amount of cardio I'm doing. I'm 267.8 actually right now. At all. So you can be a big guy, and first of all, I can do high flying moves. There's a lot of other big guys that can do that, but they actually look intimidating, and your average person would not want to fight them. Most people don't want to watch skinny little kids that look like they're in high school or have the bodies of a high school students on major wrestling companies. I sure as hell don't. That's why I'm turned off of AEW anyways. I have a problem with Magnus. Someone said, of course, he sucks. He sucks. You can't convince me he doesn't suck. The NWA Power has gone down greatly in viewership every week because the champion sucks, among other reasons. He's boring. A lot of people say that it's too silly. Road Warrior Animal was critical of the silliness of it. So yeah, they need to have better quality talent on that show, in my opinion. Road Warrior says, will AEW get over their vanilla midget phase and start employing big guys? I hope so. I really hope so, but not just big guys, but like guys that deserve it, that have been around for a while, that actually know the importance of money. Yeah, I think that would be good. Not just all these kids that have only been wrestling for short periods of time that don't even look like they go to the gym. Uh, Big Show is big without roofs. Where are those guys? Yeah, they don't have any giant guys. That's for sure. Adrian says, I have ever given some thought into MMA. I actually did have an MMA fight booked about 11 years ago, but this was before I had to go through my whole health period. And anyways, it fell through all due to my health issues. I could get cleared to fight MMA again now, but I'll be perfectly honest, I would need to make enough money that I could train for a 12-week training camp. Right now, I'm too busy. I work a regular job. I edit videos. I run a wrestling company. You can't do MMA half-assed. So yeah, there's a lot of questions, but someone says Marius Pujanovsky would be a great start for AEW. Mark Montoya says, any plans to bring back Too Cold Scorpio in Great North Wrestling? Yes, I'm working on trying to add him to the February 29th card. Troy Cross says, Marco's stunt sucks. Well, not just, I understand why they added Mark, but as I said in previous videos, he wears those cheap Nike amateur wrestling boots that high school kids wear, so it doesn't really fit the Jungle Boy look. In the matches I've seen of him, he's not polished. He's not a polished performer at all. Buff Bagwell versus Too Cold Scorpio. Well, Buff can't get into Canada, unfortunately. So that will never happen in Great North Wrestling, but apparently they've made up and they're doing signings again together now. Barlight Broker says, what do I think about Jericho? He's good. I'm not anti-AEW. Jericho's good. Cody Rhodes is good. I haven't seen enough of the other guys. Obviously, the Young Bucks are popular, and I'm not anti-small guys. I'm just anti having the majority of your roster small guys. I do think that Pac guy is one of the most boring wrestlers I've ever seen from the stuff I've tried to watch of him. He's overrated for sure. And the psychology is more or less dead in today's wrestling. I agree. And this guy says it doesn't look like simulated combat. A lot of the stuff I've seen in AEW just looks like they've put together spots and they're performing these spots. Even the fight, there was some fight I saw on Twitter with Jack Swagger and all of them fighting up on the stage and the Young Bucks. It didn't look real to me. And then they did a flip and everyone caught one of them when they flipped off the speaker or something. Like, it just didn't look real and it didn't look intense to me. So yeah, I'm not a fan, but I got to go train these non-steroid arms and a bit of chest tonight and a bit of abs. So I'm out of here. Have a good night, everybody. Talk to you soon.